So, good evening, everyone, once again.
Good evening, sir.
Sorry for the late class. They took my time. Tax people took my time. So, sorry, but we'll still do our class. It's been long we've had our class. I'm sorry for not being able to make it last week Monday. Something very urgent came up. But we are here today, and we'll do justice to our class. So, I was waiting for people to join earlier because I do not want someone to come and be asking me questions I've already solved here. But I think our turnout is low this night. It's ranging within 40 to 45, but we'll still go on. Like we all know, we finished bond valuation. Some people has been sending me questions. Some people, okay, we just posted our second class bond valuation class. Sorry, let me check to mute everyone. You people will not. Okay. So we just posted our bond valuation second class. I think to be on YouTube. Something came up with the posting. That day was. So we've been trying to post it all along, but we just did now. So some people have been asking me questions concerning it. And some people also solved some Pathfinder questions. They got stuck. They sent it to me and we reviewed it together. Thank you very much. Anybody that sent me question. If I've answered you, fine. If I've not answered you, please tag it or text me again. And I'm sure I've replied everybody anyways. But in case if I missed it, please text me again. I really appreciate people that are making efforts. Like I always say, we are not going to do more than 30% here. You have more work to do. You have more work to do on your own. 70 or 60% work is doing it on your own. And out of the 70, 30 is reading, 40 is solving pathfinders, 40 is solving past questions of your 70% that you have to do on your own. So please and please and please, Mr. Ibrahim Mr. Kabir, sorry, what's the name? Pathfinders guide, yes, past questions guide, and the summary of the past question. Please endeavor to use them and for all your courses and watch as you excel. Like I always say, for SFM and as many papers you are writing, this diet is your last diet. By the grace of God, you are inducting November. It's in November, yes. You're all inducting November. If you don't change the date, sharp, by the grace of God. So that is all for my encouragement today. That's how the Holy Spirit brought it. That I should encourage people first before I continue. Please, can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you very much. So I don't need to review our last class because I already did that review as many times as possible. So like I said in our last class that we are going to portfolio theory today. Portfolio theory was supposed to take me one class, maximum 2 classes plus a question class. But the way they've taken my time today, I'm just going to take 1 hour. We'll most likely finish this class by 11. So anywhere we stop, we'll continue. I would check during the week if there's any free time for me to use. I would, and if there is none, I would also because by March, I would skip a lot of classes. I have exam, but I should. So I would love to have gone far. I would love to have gone far before then. So I need to go as fast as possible. So please join me on this our fast lane. But even now, even as we are still fast, we still always make sure we understand each other. So please, let's endeavor to stick by the rules. Always mute yourself and all of those and those and those. So let's start the class. So like I said in our last class that today we'll be dealing with portfolio theory. So what I will do today is I will run through it. I will explain what we mean, and if we can jot, we can jot. while I'm explaining, I'll be giving the notes too, so please you can write from it. And our solving and calculation will most likely start from next class. Today is just going to be the theory part of portfolio theory, most likely. But if we get to the calculation part, I really do not mind. So portfolio theory. But before we start with portfolio theory, what is portfolio itself? Let me give you in a layman. Let me say portfolio just it represents collection of several investments, like several investment instruments. The collection. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. As I am like this, I'm using Samsung phone. That is only one phone. The moment I gather Samsung, I gather iPhone, I gather Techno, I gather this one. That's a portfolio. So if you have one investment, you have one investment. But if you gather one investment, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can say you have portfolio of investments. But here we are talking about investment instruments like bonds, stocks, shares, and other similar securities. So that's what portfolio means. And according to the topic, portfolio theory. What is portfolio theory? Basically, what portfolio theory is saying is it is a theory on how risk averse. We all know what risk averse means now. These are people that like risk. So risk averse investors can construct portfolios to maximize expected return based on a given level of risk. Do you understand? Like how investors can construct a portfolio to maximize risk. Let me explain that in a layman. What that one is saying is, you know that you can buy shares, you can buy bonds, you can buy stocks, you can buy all those things. But how can you combine all of them to minimize risk and maximize return? You know that as we are all wired, all of us want we want investment with low risk, and high return. Definitely, that's what everybody wants. We don't want plenty risk, but we want high return. So being risk averse, like we don't like risk. Risk averse means you are reluctant to take risk. That is what we all are, all of us. I'm sure we all are. So we don't like to take risk. We don't like to take risk. So what portfolio theory is just saying is how these investors can combine, can collect all this investment and maximize return to the highest and still minimize risk. So that is what portfolio theory is simply saying. I don't know if I did, but something is telling me I mixed that risk averse definition the first time. So if you did not get it or you got it wrong, you can correct it. Risk averse means you are reluctant to take risk. Risk averse, you avert risk. I've not eaten this night, me and vex. So risk avert means you avert risk. So how those kind of people can maximize return and reduce risk. That is what modern portfolio theory is telling you. You know, I've been talking about return, I've been talking about risk and return. That is basically what we'll be talking about here today. Because gathering all this portfolio means two things. Two things are major, and they are majorly involved, which are risks and return. Because in order to calculate your return, you need to check the amount of risk you are taking. And in order to determine your risk, in order to be sure of the risk or to ensure if the risk is worth taking, it depends on the return. If the return is great, you would be more willing to take the risk. So today, or throughout our portfolio class, we'll most likely be talking about risk and return. So for start, let's talk about risk. Let's talk about portfolio risk for a start. So what is risk? So I have R factor. So please help me manage it. So what is risk? Risk is defined as, okay, we've got head risk now. We don't risk in audit, we don't risk everywhere. There's risk everywhere in ICANN, in your journey. Risk is everywhere. So but in our own terms, what is risk? according to portfolio, like risk relating to portfolio, yeah. Risk can be defined as like the chance that an investment's actual return will be different than the expected. Let me come again. Risk is the chance that an investment's actual return will be different than expected. Okay, before I continue, I noticed that most of your classes, especially with cost of capital, there's already a note that I sent to you guys and you just read from it and all. That is very fine too, but permits me, this is my first time of lecturing with Apex. So all those were not prepared. They were not prepared. And I think Mr. Forgotten his name. He has been with us since. So he had all those things prepared on ground. So please just to take note of what I'm saying. It's still the same thing I would have put in the note or I would have given to you. So it's still the same thing. So sorry if I cannot come up with a note, but maybe before the end of the diet, I'm not promising, but before the end of the diet, maybe I'll be able to come up with notes for all my topics. I'll send across. I really hope there's time for me. So, but you can still continue jotting, yeah? So I said the risk is defined as a chance that an investment's actual return will be different than expected return. That is self-explanatory. What that is saying is you want to put your money somewhere, not MMMO. You want to put your money somewhere, you want to invest your money. The risk you are taking is that, okay, as you are putting 100,000, you're expecting 120,000. The risk involved in that is what if I don't get my 120,000? What if my expected return is different from my actual return? What if what actually comes to me at the end of the day is not 120,000? That is what risk relating to portfolio theory, not auditor. That is what it's saying. It's simply saying the possibility of losing some or all of your original investment. That is just risk. And according to portfolio theory, or in portfolio theory, in portfolio theory, there are two types of risk. We have what we call systematic risk and unsystematic risk. When I can test portfolio theory,
I can't hear you, sir.
Hello, you're off, sir.
so can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now.
So can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I think my network is messed. I think I lost you guys for a minute. So I'll come again. I've explained the risk, Abi. You all got when I explained the risk, Abi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so types of risk. I said we have systematic risk and unsystematic risk. So I said systematic risk. This is a type of risk that affects it affects all the companies or businesses in that economy. That's just short form of systematic risk. It's a type of risk that affects all the companies or businesses in the economy. I'm trying to get an example here. Okay, but even at like this, we all know no matter the industry you are, no matter what you are doing, inflation is affecting everybody. The inflation rate is affecting anybody. So the type of systematic risk. It's a kind of risk that investors they would like to pay in order to avoid. But they cannot be avoided. Systematic risk they are non-specific. They are unavoidable risk. Nobody can avoid this inflation that is happening now. Now you cannot say me in my industry, inflation is not. I want to avoid it. You cannot. So it's an unavoidable risk. Unavoidable risk, non-specific risk. You cannot call it non-diversifiable risk because they cannot be diversified. I will explain diversification of risk, but unsystematic risk, systematic risk are risks that cannot be diversified. Although systematic risk cannot be diversified, they can be hedged against. They can just they can just do small things to just hedge against them. Let me give example now. Okay, let me say the way there's hike in price fuel, that one is affecting everybody. But there's an industry that they use fuel the most. Like that is what they use. So it affects all of them. They cannot be eliminated to diversification. They can just be edged. Like some of them can switch to gas, like the way some people have been doing in our country. In our country, we always find solution out of hardship. So the way some people are switching to gas and all those things, they're just edging against it, but they cannot totally eliminate the whole effect of the whole hike of fuel price. So that is what systematic risk is just saying. It can be caused. Examples of systematic risk or things that causes systematic risk. I already gave example. I said inflation. Inflation can be an example. War. War can also be an example. War. Pandemic. Exactly. Pandemic. You know, we had COVID-19 that time. So that period, it affected everybody, every economy, every industry. There is no industry that can say, kill COVID-19 is not affecting me. I mean, was not affecting me. So it affected everybody. Uh, terrorist attacks, economic recession. The way Nigeria is suffering from economic recession is affecting everybody too. So and so on and so. I think I give that's about 5. I think that's enough. So that's examples of. You can add your own if you wish, but those are examples of systematic risk. Now let's go to unsystematic risk. So unsystematic risk is just basically the opposite of systematic risk. So unsystematic risk this is a kind of risk that is particular, it is particular to a company or industry. So let's say entertainment industry. This kind of risk is just a risk that pertains to only them. It is only them that is affecting. This type of risk now is also known as specific risk, unique risk, avoidable risk. It can be avoided, diversifiable risk, and so on and so forth. It can also be called alpha risk. I think some people call it alpha risk too. You can call it alpha risk. That's unsystematic risk. Systematic risk can be called beta risk. The first one I explained, that one can be called beta risk. This one can be called alpha risk. So that's unsystematic risk. For you, although this unsystematic risk now, it can be reduced through diversification. I said I will explain diversification when I'm done. So there are causes of unsystematic risk or examples of unsystematic risk. You can say location. Location. I'm trying to look for an example for location, but it's not coming to my head yet. But location it can affect a particular industry. It doesn't necessarily have to affect everybody. It can affect only people in the industry or a particular company. Location, regulatory change. Let's say in the accounting industry, if there's a change in our standards, it will affect all of us in the accounting line now. To affect everybody that is in the accounting department. So that's what we mean by regulatory change. Management change. If you change a manager of a company, can affect the company. But all those kind of risks can be diversified. They can be avoided. Not changing the manager can avoid if there is uproar from change of management. Putting location that I explained earlier, putting your company or your business in a good location can be avoided. So that's what we mean by avoidable risk. I already give example. I said regulatory change, management change, location, what example? What other one can be an example? Mm, Let me say demand, low demand. Low demand can also be an example from of a particular industry. You can have a low demand in your own industry and it's not affecting another company. They are in boom. They're having a high demand. So that one is also an example. Product recall. Your product sales is also an example of what can cause your unsystematic risks. So before I explain product diversification, please, are you guys with me? Do you understand? Is there any question before I move on?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hope you don't have a choice, so you have to be with me. Is there any question or should I continue?
Continue, sir.
Continue.
Continue.
Thank you very much. So that is what systematic and unsystematic risk means. And I said earlier, please, if ICANN wants to test portfolio theory, apart from the whole calculation ish, if you want to put definition, is most likely systematic and unsystematic risk. And I said earlier that we should solve pathfinders. When you solve pathfinders, don't just learn the question, learn the marking scheme. Learn ICANN marking. It is very important, very, very important. I've had friends that failed years and without knowing because of marking. You will see 10 mark question, 5 marks question, you're writing 1 line, 2 lines. Is it your school exam? The ICANN will tell you differentiate between systematic and non-systematic risk. 10 marks. And in your mind, you're writing 2 lines. You want to get 10 marks. How? Jazz. When they tell you differentiate anything you know, anything, and see, the thing is, it's better to overwrite than not to write enough. Not write enough, they will make them deduct mark. Overwrite, they will just take the one they want, leave the rest for you. And that one is better. Thank you. Now you not this one, I know it. Anyone you know, write as much as possible. See, they say differentiate between systematic and non-systematic risk, and you're saying 5 marks. You should know that it's not just definition. All these examples I gave to you, insert them there. Display I said professional. You are displaying professional knowledge. Everything you learned in skills, professional skills, that's what you are displaying here. You are displaying everything you've learned. Yeah, so don't come and be giving us 1 line, 2 lines and say, yeah, you are done. You want to get your 5 marks. It's not happening. So please, all those definitions and explanations, put them there. Please don't expect another note. I'm already giving the note like this because I'm taking my time to explain. I wanted to run through them before, but I just like, let me just do once and for all. So I'm already giving the notes like that. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So,
Sir, I have a question, please. The only thing I didn't get is the definition of portfolio theory, but every other thing I got it done.
no problem.
My question is the regulatory change and management change. Please, can you run through that again?
Okay. I said regulatory change, it affects a company or a particular industry. It does not affect everybody. If I give an example that if ICANN should change a particular standard, it only affects accountants in the company. And if they say IAS 16 is no more IAS 16, or they are adding it to IAS 17, then Davido and Whiskey, they will not know all those things now because it does not relate to their own particular industry. Footballers, Osimhen, they will not know all those things because what concerns them with IAS 16 and IAS, what is accounting people doing? So it relates just a particular industry. It does not generalize, it does not affect everybody. It does not affect everybody. It's just people in the accounting industry that it affect. That is what regulatory change. If there's a change in the regulatory people that regulate the industry, there's a change, it affects only the industry. Management change. If a particular company, let's say Chicken Republic, changes their president or their CEO of the whole company, it only affect Chicken Republic. It will not affect Foodco. It will not affect anybody. It's just Chicken Republic it will affect. It will not affect me in my house. It is just them that they are in uproar. So that is what I mean by their own type of unsystematic risk. And I also said all those unsystematic risk, they can be avoided and they can be diversified. When I explain diversification, you understand what I mean by diversified. But when I mean avoided, not changing the manager, you could have avoided that. You could have not changed the manager. changing IS thing, you could have not changed it, so you could have avoided that. COVID-19, nobody could have avoided COVID-19. Nobody even knew it was coming. War, you cannot avoid war. If war is going to happen, inflation that is happening in Nigeria now, our president has been running up and down trying to reduce it, but it's not happening. So those are changes that affect everybody, not a particular industry alone. Thank you very much, Mark. So that is me running through management and regulatory change again. So moving on, I said I'm going to explain portfolio diversification. So like I always do, before I give you English, let me explain what portfolio diversification is for us, just in basic terms. Let me say, I already explained portfolio. I said portfolio is like the collection of several investments. Like you have several investments. Some people can say, okay, I want to invest, but I want to invest in bond alone. Some people can say, I want to invest. Pope now, I know Pope. People can say, I want to invest now. I want to invest in shares alone. I want to invest in stocks alone. That is only you and one particular investment. But if you want to have a portfolio of investment, that means you are investing in shares, you are investing in stocks, you are investing in bonds. All of them together is your portfolio of investment. So when I'm talking about portfolio diversification now, that is where portfolio diversification is coming in. Okay, let me use me and Pope as an example. Pope is investing in bonds alone. Say, okay, he does not want problem. He does not like risk. He went to invest in government bond. Government bond are very, very low risk. Throughout the year, I don't think, you definitely collect your money back, government bond, and the percentage they are giving you is very small. So Pope said, he likes it like that, he does not want quick money. Let him be investing in his bond alone. But me, as per I like risk taker. I said no, that bond alone cannot do it for me. Let me invest in bond. Let me invest in shares. Let me invest in stock. Do you know that if anything should happen to bond, Hope is in trouble, because that is the only thing. That's the only investment he has. He's in big trouble. But me, now that I have shares, if anything should happen to bond and my shares is going up, I will not really care about the bond now. I will care, but I have other things to fall onto. That's what I mean by portfolio diversification. I've diversified my portfolio. I'm not keeping all of them. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. Let me explain like that. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm already diversifying them. I have shares, I have stocks, I have bonds. So if my bond is falling, okay, fine. I have shares, my shares is going up. So I'll use that one to cover up for this one. So that is what I mean by portfolio diversification. I have a wide variety of investments. I don't have only one investment. There is a wide variety of investments in my portfolio. I'm not like Pope. I'm not investing in only one thing. So that is what we mean by portfolio diversification. Portfolio diversification basically reduces risk. It reduces risk. If anything should happen to any other investment, you have something to fall back on. So if you want to write, you can write now. Portfolio diversification. This is a risk management technique. Is a risk management technique that mixes a wide variety of investments. It's a risk management technique that mixes a wide variety of investments within the portfolio. That was exactly what I said. It mixes a wide variety of investments within the portfolio. Portfolio diversification is also is a strategy. It is a strategy that is designed to reduce exposure to risk. It is a strategy that is designed to reduce exposure to risk. How does it reduce exposure to risk? By combining a variety of investments. You've combined stocks, you combine bond, you combine shares. You are reducing your exposure to risk.
Just a minute, sir. Can you go over that again?
I'm saying it from my head. I don't know where I stopped or where I came from or but what I said was, let me see if I can. I said
It is a risk management technique that mixes a wide varieties of investment to reduce exposure to risk.
I said diversification is a risk management technique that mixes a wide variety of investments within a portfolio. A wide variety of investments within a portfolio. And I said portfolio diversification is just a strategy. It is a strategy that is designed to reduce exposure to risk. It is designed to reduce exposure to risk by combining a wide variety of investments. Like I said, you are combining a wide variety of investment like bonds, like stocks, like shares, and others, derivatives, and the likes. Okay, let me say this. Let me say, okay, let me give you guys another example. Or let me say this as an example. Portfolio diversification. I'm still going to use Pope as an example. Pope now, like I said earlier, that Pope is investing in bonds. We have different type of bonds. We have government bonds and the likes. So, but Pope is investing in just bonds, any type of bond that it is. You cannot particularly or categorically say that is portfolio diversification. You are still not diversifying. Bond generally is a type of investment. If anything should happen to bond, it's still any kind of bond you have is going to affect you. But you can say you are diversifying, you are diversifying your portfolio. If you invest in shares, you buy shares of Dangote, you buy shares of Bonvita, you buy shares of all these public listed companies. After buying the shares, you say, okay, I'm done with shares. Let me go and buy bond. You're buying bond. After you buy bond, you're going to buy real estate. Those are saying that is me saying you are diversifying your portfolio. If you are buying just one particular type of investment, you cannot say you are diversifying your portfolio. Okay. Portfolio diversification. You can write this one down. You can just add it to your portfolio diversification notes. Portfolio diversification, it helps a rational investor. When I mean rational investor, like even I don't think there's any investor that is not rational. It's your money. It's only maybe only if the money is not legal, sure. But if it's your add any money before you make any investment, you'll be rational about it. You think about it like 1,000,000 times. Should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not do it? So portfolio diversification, it helps a rational investor to avoid disastrous end. Let me use that word. Let me use that word. To avoid disastrous end with your investment. MMM, people that invested in MMM. Some people are still suffering from it till today. Some people died because of it till today. So it helps a rational investor to avoid disastrous end for their investments by spreading the financials across different opportunities, different investment opportunities. It helps rational investors to avoid disastrous end by spreading the financials across several investment opportunities. What I'm saying is you're spreading your money in different opportunities. So if one investment is not doing well, you have another one to fall back on. If Pope bond is not doing well, it does not have anything to fall back on. But if my own bond is not doing well, I can go to shares and say, okay, my shares has increased, my stock has increased, my real estate is moving. So that is what I mean by portfolio diversification. Moving on. There are three types of diversification, basically. We have three types of diversification. We have what we call horizontal diversification. We have what we call concentric. Let me write this for you people who say I'm wicked. Can you see my screen, please? Can you see my screen? Yes, can. You can see my screen, Abi, before I move on.
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much. So our topic today is portfolio theory. Portfolio theory. If you're just joining my class for the first time, which I don't think there should be anybody that is just joining my class for the first time. But if there is, my name is Sulaimon Olanshili Amangbola, and although we've taken a few topics.
You didn't have this year.
I can add it from you. Help me add it, ma. You know these things when you get to it's before you get there, you want to ginger. Yeah, you get it when you feel like you don't feel like you leave it for them. But anyways, ACA, my madam said I should add ACA. So it's like more like ACA. But anyways, I was explaining portfolio diversification. I said types of diversification, yeah? So types of diversification. There's some English. I don't want people to write some
Sir,
English to be able to. Yes,
I
ma'am.
have one small question.
You have what?
One small question.
Hope I'm with you.
Okay, sir, can you just please help me distinguish between bonds and debenture?
That one is not part of our class. Oh. Yeah,
The
Pope.
reason why I was asking is because when you're talking of diversification, so in a case whereby, sometimes we regard bond and debenture as something similar. So I wanted to know if someone invests in bond and debenture, is it a diversification or they are still under similar classes? That's why I'm asking.
Okay, I'm coming. Let me write my stuff first. I'll attend to you. I'm coming. Horizontal diversification. This is because of this particular word that I'm putting this thing here. Concentric diversification. Then the last one is conglomerate diversification. So like it is here, types of diversification. We have horizontal diversification, we have concentric diversification, and we have conglomerate diversification. So Pope, are you with me?
So I'm with you. I'm with you, sir.
Okay. So your question now, you said the differences between bonds and debentures. The thing is, okay, according to what you are saying, that if you are investing in venture, you're investing in bond, can you say is a kind of, what's the name? Is it like portfolio is it like diversification? I would say no. I would say no, that is not diversification, because although bonds and debentures are actually this, they are not like they are not like they are the same. They are very close. They are both debt. They are both debt instruments. They are both debt instruments. The only thing is, uh uh bond are more like, they are more like long-term investments. They are more like long-term investments, because if you invest in government bond now, I think down before you collect your capital or your redemption amount, down like years. But debenture is like a short-term kind of investment after like short term. So you cannot, they are both debts. They are both debt instruments. So you cannot say you are diversifying, because you are still in the same line. Like now like you're saying, okay, they tell you to eat all sort of proteins except egg. But you're eating boiled egg. I don't even understand what I'm saying. But you're asking that, can you eat boiled egg? Boiled egg is just a kind of egg, but they are still close. I don't even understand what I'm saying. I'm just trying to use that as an example.
Okay, sir.
You cannot say you are diversifying that. They are still in the same lane. They are still almost the same thing. But you cannot say bond and real estate is the same thing, can you? Yeah, Pope.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I can't.
Okay. So, but debenture and bond, they are both types of debts. Just some differences among them, redemption time and all these things. So you cannot say you're diversifying your portfolio like that. So thank you. But you can still check up on it if I stand to be corrected. So if you feel like you can chat me up and we'll correct it. We are all learning together. But for me, I don't think you can say you're diversifying your bond with debenture and bond. Thank you very much. So moving on. These are my types of diversification that I said that I can't say we should cheat. Horizontal diversification, concentric diversification, and conglomerate diversification. Please and please, before I explain each and every one of them, don't forget what I explained by diversification. Because when we are explaining each and every one of them, it would make more sense. So the first one, horizontal diversification. When we say let me say when we say horizontal diversification now, what this is particularly saying is you are adding or developing new products. You are adding new, like as a company now. Okay, before I give an example, let me explain. You are adding or developing horizontal diversification. It involves adding or developing new products, or if you are a servicing agent, you are offering new services that could appeal to the company's current customers. It could appeal to the company's current customers. Example is when the company they add a new and unrelated product or services to the existing ones. Let me, as an example now, let me say, someone should give me a type of oil. Okay, let me use pen. Let me use my pen as an example. So the pen I have with me now is Lucky Winner, yeah? So Lucky Winner pen has been producing pen. Then there is a competitor, or that Lucky Coral and all those kind of competitors, and they feel like, okay, why am I even using pen? Biggie, we all know Biggie now. We know Biggie. So Biggie has been creating Biggie Coke, Biggie Fanta, Biggie Coke, Biggie Fanta. But it could not work. Then they had to diversify and say, okay, let's change. Then they did Biggie bottle water. That is horizontal diversification. You are changing, you are bringing something that is not related. That is not related to what you are particularly selling now. Just to your customers. I don't know if anybody is understanding what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Please come again, sir. What you are selling, what is not related to what you are producing.
It occurs now when, okay, let me say, it occurs when a company adds a new and unrelated product, goods or services to the existing one, just for the purpose of serving serving your present customers you have. You just want to serve them, but you're adding a new and unrelated product to the existing ones. I gave Biggie as an example. That might not be the perfect example, but I feel like you should be able to picture what I'm trying to say. Biggie has been producing Coke and Fanta for us. Biggie Coke, Biggie Fanta, Biggie Apple, Biggie Plenty Biggies. But maybe they were not meeting the target of their customers. Then they had to divert. Then now we have Biggie bottle water. We have Sosa, and I had Sosa. I don't know if you like drinks. Sosa is also a product of Biggie. So that is adding a new and unrelated and a new product to what you are already selling, to the ones you're already selling. That's what we mean by horizontal diversification. Let me explain concentric. When I explain concentric and the rest, maybe you will understand. Concentric diversification is like this one is saying, this one is when a company add new and related products to the existing ones now. Let's note the differences. You know, the first horizontal one, the horizontal one I explained earlier, you are adding a new product and unrelated goods, like goods or services. They are unrelated. Biggie water is not related to Biggie Coke, not related to Biggie Fanta. But now you are adding new and related products or services to the existing ones. You are adding related ones. Okay, let's assume when Biggie first started, they first started with Biggie Coke. Just Biggie Coke, Biggie Coke, Biggie Coke, Biggie Coke. Then the moment they brought in Biggie Fanta, that's what we mean by concentric diversification. It's a new product and it's related. So that's what we mean by concentric diversification. They are still on the same line. You are not entirely switching to another thing. Okay, let me use, what example can I use again? Okay, let me use Samsung. Samsung as an example. Maybe some of us don't know Biggie, but we know phones. So let me use Samsung as an example. So Samsung can be producing Samsung A1 since. But they now feel like, okay, their customers are saying, why are you giving us only A1? Why are you giving us only A1? Give us something else. when they say, okay, if you want something else, then they give Samsung A2, Samsung A3. That is what we mean by concentric diversification. You are still producing Samsung A1, A2 in the same line. It's still Samsung you are producing. But the moment your customers now say, you now say, I don't want to do Samsung again. Let me do something else. Let me do Techno. It's still Samsung, but let me do Techno. But it's still your company, but let me do Techno. You have changed we are still producing phones, but you have changed your line. This is a new and unrelated part of your brand item. I don't know if anybody's understanding what I'm saying. I'm looking for
Yes,
an
sir, we understand.
particular example that will suit.
Sir, don't worry, just
Hello, sir.
continue.
I want to bring in this example, whether it will go.
Give me a good example, man.
Yeah, seasoning cube.
Non what?
Non-seasoning cube.
Non-seasoning cube.
No
Yeah,
seasoning cube.
Okay.
yeah. They are producing Annapurna seasoning cube.
Yeah.
It's the same company.
Yeah, it's the same company. Okay, okay, the same company now. So
Yes.
the moment they changed to that Anakuna,
Annapurna, yes.
that is concentric. They are still producing seasoning. But imagine they now say, okay, no seasoning cube. We are not missing our cost. Let's go and produce Indomie. Let's produce more Indomie. It's related, it's not related to the seasoning they are producing, but they just want to satisfy their customer. That is what we mean by horizontal diversification. If you do not understand now, I think I have tried. So the last one is conglomerate diversification. This one can also be called heterogeneous diversification. This is also called heterogeneous diversification. It involves moving. Listen, no, please. It involves moving to new products or services that has he has no relation with your current product. Please let me listen very well. You are moving to a new product or services. He has no technological, no commercial relation with your current product. But you are still trying to satisfy, your customer. The main motive of this kind of diversification particularly is just high return on the new industry. As I'm explaining, I'm trying to think of example. Because this one particularly looks like it looks like horizontal. But the difference here is with this one now, you know Biggie. Like Biggie that I give as an example. Biggie has been producing Biggie Coke, Biggie Fanta, Biggie Coke, Biggie Fanta. Then they switched to Biggie Bottled Water. Imagine that, they are still, but now imagine that Biggie Coke, Biggie Fanta. They now say, okay, with Biggie Coke, with Biggie Fanta, with Biggie Water, we are not even producing anyone again. We want to go and produce car. We want to go and produce Biggie Moto, Biggie vehicle. That is them switching. They are moving entirely into another industry to produce another thing. The first horizontal diversification. You can still say they are still in the bottling industry because they just switched from producing Biggie Coke, Biggie Fanta to produce Biggie Water. But now they are not even producing Biggie Fanta. They are not producing Biggie Water. They are producing something entirely different from their previous or their current product. Please, when we are done with this class, put horizontal diversification, put it on Google, concentric diversification, put it on Google, put everything on Google, get your own definitions from what I explained. Everything I explained is from my perspective. It is what I know. Check Google, look for a way to define it better that will suit you. That if they ask in exam, you will not cram what I've told you. You'll be able to write it in your own words. All the examples I gave, they might not be the best for you to understand, but that is just what I can picture for now that could work. Someone already gave us no example, and I feel like it worked well. Horizontal diversification, I already used Biggie. Conglomerate, I still use Biggie. So please, I hope that is clear enough. Is it clear, somebody?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Pope, I cannot hear your voice in this my class.
Loud and clear.
I'm with you, sir. I'm with you.
Be with me. Oh. Nigeria lost this. Is that why your voice is like this?
No, I don't want me to enter me again. I just say make I dey observe and listen.
No, I like good. I like that one. So moving on. So that is all the theories you need to
So
know.
what you are saying is that conglomerate
Yes, ma'am.
is like somebody producing Indomie now into housing estate.
Exactly. You're switching something like entirely. It does not, you're moving to new products or services. It has no technological, no commercial relationship with your current product. Nothing with your current product. But for horizontal now, you know that horizontal, if when you do how will I explain it? If when Biggie is switching from Biggie Coke, Biggie Fanta to Biggie Table Water, they can still use some technologies, some same technologies for it. It's just at some point of production that it will be different. It will not entirely be different. It's still a bottling company. They will still produce bottles. So they can still use some same line. But someone that has been producing bottled water, but you now want to go and produce car, you want to go and produce Corolla. How you cannot use any technology for it now. It's not related. Completely unrelated. You are moving to a new complete industry. That is what that means. Thank you very much. I hope that is clear enough. I really do hope. But anyways. So moving on, we've spoken about how to diversify our risk. So now I know some people have been saying, why is this man talking? Let's calculate, let's solve. Want to solve. We'll definitely solve. So the way I've explained the return and I've explained the risk. There's a way we need to calculate them as an accountant. You need to say, okay, before I invest in this portfolio, all this let me even leave before I invest. Okay, I've invested in all these portfolios. I've bought real estate, I've bought stocks, I've bought shares, I've bought bonds, I've bought everything I can buy. What are the risks involved in each of these bonds, in each of these investments? What is the return in each of these investments? After calculating each of them, you still need to calculate what is the return in all my portfolio. You know, I already said a combination of all those your investments can be referred to as portfolio. So you can calculate return on each of them. So I want to calculate my return on bond. I want to calculate my return on stock. I want to calculate my return on shares. And you can also say you want to calculate your return of all of them, of all your portfolio together. That's for return. You can also calculate risk. Calculate your risk on each of your investments. You want to calculate the risk on bond, the risk on stock, and you want to calculate the risk of all the portfolios. Each and every one of them has their own formulas. So we'll run through them one by one. This will most likely be where we'll round up our class. But anyways, let's still continue for now. So let's talk about risk first. So please, whenever we are talking about risk, according to portfolio theory, risk is denoted with standard deviation, SD. There's a sign for it, but I don't think I can get that sign here. So standard deviation sign, and we all went to deal it in our secondary school. So anyway, we hear portfolio risk is denoted as standard deviation. So let's talk about risk first. So I already explained the risk. That was why I explained the risk in the first. That was the first thing I did. I explained the risk. I explained for portfolio risk. I spoke about the types of risk, where we spoke about systematic and unsystematic risk. So portfolio risk now, I already said is denoted with standard deviation, Abi. I'm writing this, so when you someone should not be asking what's the meaning of SDO, because I know the questions you can ask. Standard deviation. Okay, so portfolio risk is okay. Let me do it like this so it to be clear. Please, is it clear like this? Portfolio risk is denoted with standard deviation, SD. So now, I said you can calculate for what is this thing here? I said you can calculate for individual security. You can calculate for the whole portfolio. So now let's talk about for individual security first. So if you want to calculate your portfolio risk for individual security, let's say you buy bond, you want to know your you want to know your risk for just bond alone. So like I said, the standard deviation. So first thing they are going to do is the standard deviation now equals to, okay, now we need our plenty square root formula. Let's come here. I think there's a square root here. Okay, I think this is the square root. This is the square root. So square root of P. Our P here now stands for probability. So our P here now stands for probability. So they will give you all the probability you need. So which is now X minus, so your X now is your return. They will give you the figures for this X. So X minus, this class is not going to be easy because I need to come and be bringing all these formulas from here. Okay, so that's X minus X bar. Okay, so this is your formula for individual security, X minus X bar square. So I'll write this here. You can write the proper square in your own. You know me, I'm using system, so it's going to be really difficult. How can I represent square now? Let me use this. Is this clear?
Yes.
Very clear. Yeah. The
So
only
what
thing is the square root covering everything there?
which square? Yes, the square root is covering everything. I don't think you can go more than this. The square root is covering everything. So it's the square root of probability X minus X bar squared. So what this is probably saying is, like I said, they will give you your probability. They will tell you probability is 0.2, 0.3, 0.5. That's for 3 different securities. So now to calculate. So what you will now do is after giving probability, they will give you expected return. Now, okay, it's expecting X. They'll give you the expected return, let's say 20, 30, 40. So what this is saying is you now do our normal table that we used to do in statistics now. So you multiply your probability multiplied by your expected return, your X, you get a figure. Whatever you have, you add it up together, you subtract it, you have your X minus X bar, you square it. So you have your X minus X bar squared, then the square root of everything is going to be your portfolio risk for individual security. So now for, I think it was in our bond class that someone was telling me one formula like that. And I said something about that. Please, if you know, I think it was when I was solving IRR that someone told me about formula for someone told me about one formula. And I said, if the formula works for you, do it. But I would advise that you try as much as possible. If you find any way to learn something without formula, it is better because there are plenty formulas to cram. I'm not even lying. There are 1 million formulas to cram. So if there's anyone that has another method, please just use that other method that will save you from cramming the formula. Said my own. But if you know how to cram for, although some of the formulas will be at the back of your answer sheet though. But what if they decide to not put it there? But most times they are always there. They're always at the back of your answer sheet. But it's not all the formulas, it's just some of them that'll be there. So for our asset portfolio now, this one is square root. Can I get
Sir Chile,
I'm with you, sir.
sorry, please, I want to be sure. There is this subtopic I met when I was treating Pathfinder, schools and something. Is it under this investment portfolio theory too?
No, sir. Black schools, that's options.
Options.
Okay.
think that's my last topic with you guys. And when I'm done with this, I'll take it real quick. Then we'll do options. Then options. I'm done with you. So this one now, this formula is war. So please and please and please follow me as I'm writing it. Be writing it too. Please just be writing as I'm writing it. So what this one is saying is, for this asset portfolio now, the first one we did was for individual security for one. Now we already have, let's say, like 2 or 3 assets together. So now what we'll do now is we calculate, oh, okay, this square root could actually be longer. Okay, that means I'll adjust that first one then. So what this one is saying now is the weight of, let's say, the first security is X. The weight of X, please be writing it to, don't say when I'm done. The weight of X squared, times standard deviation squared. There will be problem with this formula. There will be big problem with this my square. How can I represent the square again now? But please be writing it with me. Just be writing it with me. I feel like that would save us a lot of things. So what I would say is WX squared. I said we have individual securities now. So the weight of one of the securities, W stands for weight now. So weight of X squared, standard deviation squared. Standard deviation represent our risk now. So standard deviation squared, cover the bracket. Then we have plus, sorry, this is plus, we go again. Then weight of Y now, we've done for X. So we'll now do for Y, weight of Y squared.
Sorry, that weight, is it the same thing as a summation?
No. No, it's not. They'll give you the weight. Or we'll calculate the weight when we solve the question, So weight of Y, my standard deviation has gone up. Okay, I'm
We
coming.
represent the times with X so that it will not go up like that.
Sir, you know what? Let's just do it like this. When you're done with the class, use your hand to write the formula and snap it to the group chat.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better that way.
Yeah, I think he's
Just
correct.
continue writing it. We are following you. Then when you finish, you can write the and snap it.
Hello, you can just say maybe if you are giving us many formula, I can say formula 1. So you just note it as formula 1. So in your group chat, you write F formula 1, then you use your hand to write it and send it. So we can relate it to this one then.
Yeah,
So this is what I would do, yeah. I would be writing it. So if you're writing, be writing with me. I'm starting to write now. So when I'm done writing, I'll snap and send, and I'll write the meaning of each and every one of them here for us. So I think that works. Thank you, Pope. I like your idea. So please, if you're writing, you can still continue writing. So let me start again. I said for individual security. My handwriting is bad, or people will manage it like that. For individual security, I say standard deviation equals the square root of P, open bracket, X minus X bar or squared. Then for asset portfolio now, we also have our standard deviation now equals to square root bracket, your weight of X now, or squared, standard deviation of X squared, close this bracket, plus weight of Y squared, standard deviation of Y squared, plus 2, open bracket, weight of X, standard deviation of X, plus 2, weight of X, standard
Sir, please
deviation.
start that asset portfolio again. Start it again, please.
Weight of Y, I'm coming. Even me, this thing cannot contain it here. What do I do? Okay. I'll have to write it again. The for asset portfolio, I'm coming now. It did not contain it in my book. And I have to like start again, probably reduce my handwriting. I was trying to write it big so you see it. So I said for asset portfolio now, your standard deviation equals your square root now. We now say your weight of x squared, standard deviation of x squared, standard deviation of x squared plus weight of y squared, standard deviation of y squared plus 2. Now weight of x, standard deviation of x, close the bracket, weight of y, standard deviation of y, close the bracket, open the bracket again, r, x, and y. Close it. That's all. So let me read it out again. I said for asset portfolio now, standard deviation equals square root, open bracket, weight of x squared, standard deviation times standard deviation of x squared, close the bracket, plus weight of y squared, standard deviation of y squared, close the bracket, plus 2, open the bracket, weight of x, standard deviation of x, close the bracket, open another bracket, weight of y, standard deviation of y, close that bracket, then open another bracket, rx and y, rx and y. Pope, how do you see
That's RXY, abi?
rx, comma y or rx and y?
Okay, got him.
That's good. So I will write that. I'm coming. Let me write for my own individual security again. So for my own individual security, I have standard deviation equals square root of p open bracket x
I
minus.
didn't get it though, so I'll wait for you to post it so that I can copy. So
So
it's my mind now. I'm saying my mind. I didn't get it.
no
And
problem.
It's
you will
okay.
sleep.
No problem at all. So for portfolio, for our portfolio return, for return now, we've done risk, so we are talking about return now. So for individual security, like individual investment, for individual security, now it's about return. For individual security, it's denoted by X bar, which is saying your summation of PX. What that is simply saying is, so summation of probability times X. They'll give you, now I said X is your expected return. They'll give you expected return. They'll give you a figure for it. So for you to get for individual security, now you just do probability times that return. They'll give you probability too. So that's for individual security. Now for portfolio, for asset portfolio return. For asset portfolio return, this is represented by RP, which is equals to weight of X, return of X bar plus weight of Y, return of Y bar. This one is not, they are not going to give in your question paper. So you might, okay, let me just write everything I need to write. So I'll just be doing where and we'll know what. I'm coming up, please. Hold on for me. See, we see covariance now. Okay, I think I'm done. I'll send it to the group now so you can check. One snap. Then we'll now do where this and we'll talk about each of the formulas one by one. I said this class was being 10 by 11. So Okay. Thanks. Okay. I don't know if anyone has seen it. Let me leave this old drama here. Let me just erase it. Has anyone seen it?
No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's on the WhatsApp group.
I think there are about two different groups. So the second people, okay, they should have seen it too now. So please, has everyone seen it, please?
Definitely we will see it. Just continue. I don't want to minimize. Some phones, if you minimize, you just mute
It's
yourself
not
outside.
showing. It's not on what on the second WhatsApp group.
It is on the
No.
two now, sir.
Yeah, we have seen it.
So now let's continue. So let's write all the formulas, let's write out the derivatives that we wrote there. So it will be clearer, then we'll know what we are saying. But please let me first confirm. Sorry, Paul, we might need to check it because I'll be calling out derivatives from the formula. So any which way, sure. So please, we can also please be looking at the formula. So while I'm calling it out. So the first thing is P here. So we have P now equals probability. Now I said they will give this probability to you. Probability. That's for our P. We have X now. So our X equals Jesus. So our X equals this X is just assumption. They can give you anything. They can give you A, they can give you B, but it's return on security. On security X, your security can be anything. It can be Y, it can be A, it can be B. So Y here now equals return. Here now is return on security Y. The next thing here now is WX which means, like I said it is the weight, or we can say proportion of amount invested in
Sir, please scroll up. Sir, please scroll up.
security X. My system just doing what you like. The proportion of security X. Y now equals this is still the weight. Let me just copy and paste a bit. So this again, and security Y. Okay. So on to the next now. I'm mixing the stuff together. I'm mixing the like all the terms together. So now this one I want to talk about now is in the one for the return.
Okay, we understand.
So Rx bar now. This one is equal to expected. No, I said they will give you expected return now. So expected return on security X. The next one now is your RY bar. Oh, tired. I am tired, I am tired, I am tired, I am tired. So RY bar, RY bar now is your expected return on security Y. On to the next. So I give something like, there's something like RX, comma Y. I don't want this capital letter R. So you not think it's return, but it's not, because it's not return. No one capital letters here. Okay, RX and Y. So what this is simply just saying is correlation coefficient. All of us that we did statistics, so that we did statistics at any point in school, we know what we say when we mean correlation coefficient. Although they will give you, they might give you, but if they don't give you, we still teach you how to calculate correlation coefficient. Okay. Correlation coefficient between security X and Y. So I give something about covariance. Covariance is how you calculate your coefficient, but let's still you know that when you are doing your that formula that I gave for that R, not that R represents correlation coefficient. So if you look at that formula for the expected return for the security, sorry, for the risk for the portfolio security, the last part there's something like Rx and Y. That Rx and Y is the correlation coefficient of this thing. If they give it to you, fine. They don't give it to you. Sometimes they might not give you correlation coefficient. They'll give you covariance. They'll give you covariance. So what they're expecting you to do is you use that covariance. You put it in that formula, that third formula that I gave, that R equals cov XY over so you put it there to get your correlation coefficient. I hope someone understands me, sure. But no worry, like I always say, when we solve question, you will know what we are talking about. All this one is just diagram. Covariance of securities X and Y. Let me give you, let me give you one trick. I wanted to say it, but let me just write it there. Probabilities of two or more securities. All these things, if I had the note. Two securities are different. Please, are you copying this thing?
Yes, we are.
It's now your R. Because So, are you done? Can I continue?
Yes, you can continue.
So let me explain these terms, and when we come next class, we'll solve one or two questions, and I'll explain some things anyways. But looking at those two formulas here, I give please, can someone hear me apart from Popo? Can anyone else hear me? I've been hearing Popo's voice in mind.
Yes, we can.
You can know.
Thank you very much. So I sent the picture to the group chat on the formula, on this formula. So I wrote all this so you can write all this under it. So what this is saying is I gave formula for individual risk and portfolio risk, individual return and portfolio return. For individual risk, I said risk is denoted as standard deviation. So for individual risk, standard deviation equals square root of P open bracket x minus x bar squared. This is just that thing we used to do in school that time, and I will be multiplying. But you need to be very careful. Then the next one is for the asset portfolio. For the asset portfolio now is standard deviation of portfolio equals a long square root, open bracket, weight of x square, standard deviation of x square, close the bracket, plus weight of y square, plus standard deviation of y squared, close the bracket, plus 2, open bracket, weight of x, standard deviation of x, close the bracket, weight of y, standard deviation of y, close the bracket, Rx and Y, which simply stands for correlation coefficient. I said for portfolio return for individual security, summation of PX, which represent our probability, and our X represent our expected, our X represents return on security. X is
So I
return.
don't see your price.
X represents return. X bar represents expected return. So I give formula for portfolio returns and I explain all of them here. Where I said P is probability, X is return on security X, Y is return on security Y, WX is weight or proportion of amount invested in security X, WY is weight or proportion. Weight or proportion.
What is the difference between X and X bar?
Where I said weight or proportion of amount invested in security Y, RX bar is the expected return on security X, and RY bar is the expected return on security Y. Why the Rx and RY, that was the last thing, is your correlation coefficient between security X and security Y. And your what's the name? Your cove, which I gave in okay, the formula that I give on its own is your covariance of security. And I give how to calculate covariance too. And I said, please note, when they give you probabilities of 2 or more securities and the probabilities are different, it means that there is no relationship between the two securities. That is, your correlation coefficient is 0. So if they give you probabilities of securities, like they say one is 0.6, one is 0.4, it means that your correlation coefficient is most likely 0. So that is sometimes ICANN will not give you correlation coefficient. So you have to calculate it. So how to calculate correlation coefficients would that is what I give as the last one, which is also, they will not give you correlation coefficient, they'll give you covariance. You can just say covariance. You will not use your covariance state. You need to change it to correlation coefficient. That is where you use that last formula that I gave to you of covariance xy equals summation p x minus x bar, y minus y bar. So if you use that to get your covariance, you put your covariance in that formula of R equals covariance x minus y. So that thing you get, you put it there over standard deviation of x, standard deviation of y. So like that to get your correlation coefficient, and you use it for your formula. Is there any question? Any question?
Sir, what is the difference between X and X bar?
X is return. X bar is your expected return. Your X is your return. your X bar is your expected return. You know, when you put some formulas, we put X minus X bar. So your summation of your X is your X bar. Your summation of your X is your X bar. Your summation of all your return is your expected return. So if they say your return is, let's say your return for security X is 22222. So once you add everything together, that is your X bar, which simply stands for your expected return. Your RX bar that is in this formula, your expected return. Is that clear, sir?
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have any other question?
You are solving questions. You understand these things better.
I don't think there's any other question for that.
So should we continue?
You deserve to go and rest.
I can fire till like 2 a.m.
Okay, no problem. You are here.
Oh yeah, now you dey use that one dey scare us. Oh yeah, the other now.
Question, let's solve.
You will sleep off now.
We can't sleep. Oh. You can be telling us from time to time. We'll be answering you.
You'll be sleeping.
Yeah, bring question. Let's start to solve. At least you can finish like about 4 questions with us this night.
Please don't solve anything. Let's go and rest. We are going to work tomorrow.
Want to fire on?
You want to do VG?
Me, I don't have strength. Me, I'm already tired. But anyways, I think we actually made a good start today.
Yeah.
So next class we'll solve question. I will explain some, because there are some proofs and some lines that I can use to test when I'm talking about we have what we call capital market line, and we have capital allocation line. We talk about differences between the two of them. We talk about I'll snap the graph to you, although they don't ask for the graph, but I'll still snap the graph to you. I'll explain what we mean by indifference curve and the types of correlation we have. We have 3 types of correlation: positive correlation, negative correlation, zero correlation. Positive correlation is when 2 or more securities move up and down in a portfolio, like it go up and goes down, while negative correlation, they move inversely of each other, and zero correlation, it moves like a straight line. So we'll talk about that, talk about importance of correlation, and we'll talk about indifference curve. But all those ones are the theory aspect. But for the calculation aspect, I feel like we made a good start. So once we do this, we solve like 2 questions on it. Then we'll go to CAPM, capital asset pricing model, and we use it to calculate our required return, our expected return too. Then we'll get our alpha value. We'll do underpricing, overpricing, normal pricing. Don't worry, when we get there, we'll talk. You guys have done CPM now in cost of capital?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
We have.
Oh.
Yes, we've done it.
So CPM, we use CPM to get our required return, which is your risk-free plus your beta, open bracket, your risk-free plus your market return, or
premium.
Or market or risk premium. Thank you. So we use CPM and we do all those. I hope we start early in our next class and finish this once and for all. So that is where we'll stop today. Thank you very much for joining my class. I hope to see you next week, Monday. Or if I find any time during the week of any lecturer that's not using it, I would get across to you and would pick you up from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night rest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
People should sleep.
Okay, we appreciate this, please.
You are very welcome. Hope. Pope has left me.
You. I did.
I know you will not leave. How is it going?
I cannot leave. I cannot leave my G.
How is it going?
Thank God, oh, thank God.
You be boss now.
I'm sure is that AFCON loss that made you like this. The shock
Me,
still dey your body.
I don't know. That yesterday loss. I don't know. I don't really feel. I feel that South Africa won better. Sha, that yesterday. They played absolute rubbish that yesterday. They not even deserve to win anything. So I was not.
People, but they were. It was just kick and follow
Yeah,
pattern.
do you get kick and follow? Absolutely no pattern, no tactics, nothing. And I already knew the way they
Well,
were playing that.
that was how we've been playing from the onset. We are just defending and then all balls to Osimhen. It just did not work yesterday. That's just it.
That's. Please, you guys
Hope
can
you have
go.
off your recording, Sha.
You shall go. Don't worry. Leave me and Pope.
Okay, bye bye.
That's true. I'm not even off the recording. I'm not gonna off it. Before they'll be hearing me and Pope gist.
Sir, I saw this question on that